I gotta talk about race because it is the thing that has been used to divide us. And if you are listening to this right now, you were born into the social constructs and the divisiveness, which gives you an opportunity to make some different decisions. I know, not easy. Because whichever side you're on, then you have been conditioned with either some major heartache or some privilege. There's some things we have to talk about. So I just decided, toss the script, have a heart-to-heart, and dear God, I hope you can hear my heart. Because that's exactly where I'm speaking from. Hi, I'm Zara. I'm glad you're here. Let me first say that I've been around over 5 decades, born in the dirty South. I know racism. I'm about to speak to both Black people, white people. Everybody does not identify as those two, but those are the two that have been used to divide. And because I am melanated, I have family that's not, other people that I love that's not, then we got to bridge this gap. I consider myself a bridge. We all came here for different purposes. There are a whole lot of you who were born for this time to bridge this gap. If you're here, then you have the goods to bridge this gap. Our families have been in trouble for a long time. And a lot of that is because we just don't understand individuality. They kept that from us. They've been creating division all along, not just with race, but with the people we love. It's time to understand what their agendas have been and get smarter than they are, so we can start making some better decisions for ourselves, not to their gain, okay? I look forward to the time when we are in the thick of really being able to bridge. Because when we get there, then we're gonna know unity like we never have. There aren't many of us that don't have people who don't look like us as part of our family. What are we to do? Well, I'll tell you the only thing that I can do, and that is to love. I am love. I choose to be love. Does that mean that Black people don't have a horrific history in the United States? Oh, it's horrific. And I believe every white person needs to understand it. And I know it matters none what complexion we are. We're all capable of loving. We are love. We can choose to love anybody we want to. Here's what I'm saying. If we have all been their pawns, because all they had to do was to establish the fears, and with the dawn of media, they have truly played us all. From where I sit, the only way that we are even going to be prepared enough for the next leg of this wave that is coming as a result of understanding all of the ways we have been their pawns is if we get the tools to unite. That's part of understanding who you are and then establishing the mindset. And the mindsets are going to be different depending on your experiences. So chocolate people, the mindset is going to have to be different. There are some things that we're going to have to stop doing that continues to re-traumatize. I'll give you an example. I have never seen any of Hollywood's recreations of anything that makes me relive any forms of oppression. The slavery movies and all that crap was to keep you in a particular vibration. It's worked, because every time it comes out, guess who is selling out the theaters? And guess who's getting richer because of it? Oh, we're waking up to how we just continue to feed into it. Is it all real? Did it all happen? Absolutely. And the more real they can make it, then the more traumatized you remain. there are some things we're going to have to refrain from in order to rise above the junk, the gook, the stuff that keeps us in the quicksand and not being able to rise. And for those who are unmelanated, your mindset is going to be different too. White people, you are going to have to go to school to understand, and I don't mean their schooling, I mean to understand why Black people are so angry. Because getting angry at anything is not the answer. We've got to get the mindset to really neutralize on both sides, okay? Black folk gonna have to do that in one way, and white folk, you gonna have to do it in another way. So I can guide us through this process because the mindset that it is going to take to operate in unity is the same. And once we can neutralize the stuff, then we can unite. But to understand how we stop feeding into the tactics of division that they've been using the whole time. Because all they've had to do was set up the fear and then pull the trigger. When they pulled the trigger, then we were all triggered. And they did the same thing over and over again. They used race forever and politics. Remember we had all those different parties? Now it's just down to the two for the most part. Are there others? Yeah, but we know it's down to the two. They created through this pandemic some serious divide of red and blue. It was all planned because now, if you are really looking at this, you recognize that the red and blue are all on the same team and it is not ours. So operating in unity to me does not mean that you necessarily have to fight anything. It means you have to get aligned with who you are naturally and then work on the mindset for unity. That's how we ride this next wave because it is getting rockier and rockier. And it is only through genuine, authentic unity. Going about it this way helps us to see that we are all just human. Many people have said throughout the years, when we cut, we all bleed red. I'll take it further than that. We are all even beyond what's cut. The true us is intangible and immutable. And when we understand that in the ways that we are intangible and immutable, many of those characteristics go across all complexions, then we understand our humanness in this. And everything external becomes secondary. It is not that important. I am human first. And it's why I've never been offended or affected when anybody judged me or treated me in a way because they saw this and had a problem with it. And I gotta tell you, it wasn't all unmelanated people who saw this and had a problem with it. So can we stop with acting like, I know well, that's colorism, not racism. Listen, to a chocolate child growing up in the dirty South, particularly in Louisiana, do I need to say more? And in a household where, child, look, it is time for us to create the kind of unity that will help us to rise above all of this division. So the divisive tactics that have worked from the beginning of time, from race to economics to politics, and most recently, after these lockdowns, all again with agendas, the poked or the unpoked. Now, does any of this matter anymore? I mean, come on. The only thing that matters is that we get to the point that we recognize we are on the same team. This matters none. And our way of winning it is to operate in love for self first, got to figure out who you are. Because when you know who you are, they can't use you against you. And I'm telling you, that's what they've been doing. And then for all of us to create the mindset that's necessary in order to actually win this thing together. Because when we form this kind of unity, they have no divisive measures for that. I hope you heard my heart in this. I'm not trying to convince and convert anybody to anything they do not want. But for those of you who have had enough, you want to leave a better world for your children and the generations to come, then I invite you to come on this journey, and I promise you, I'm going to give you everything I've got. Let's do this. It's your life. Choose it, just as it is. Own it, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Change it. As long as you can breathe and learn, it can get better.